What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. We are back with the 1957 Plymouth Plaza with a little 3.8 liter flathead 6. Take a look at her. Today, I mean, she still needs a lot, guys. Remember, it's leaking a little bit of oil. It's puking, or it was puking transmission fluid. But the main issue we have right now, number one, it has no brakes. Number two, this wheel doesn't move, like it's just stuck. So I'm going to straighten out the wheel, I'm going to jack it up, and we're going to beat the living heck out of the brakes and hope it comes off. Now, on these old Mopar products, okay, one side is lefty-loosey and the other side is righty-loosey. The problem is, I can't remember which side is which. Let's grab an impact, let's grab a socket, let's see if we can get this wheel off. All right, so the size that I've gone with is a 3/4 inch, and I'm not gonna hit this hard because honestly, I can't remember. I think that's tightened. Yeah, so righty on this side is actually loosening. Isn't that wild? It feels so wrong doing it this way. But that's what it is. Righty-loosey on the passenger side, lefty-loosey on the driver's side. Okay, next question is, will the wheel come off? Oh, like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. All right, let's take a look. Look at this. It's even got that, what do they call this? It's like a, oh, there's a, I don't know what that is, but it looks broken. It's like a big stud in there. I wonder what that went to. If anybody knows what this is supposed to be, let me know. This has been soaked. Looks like somebody put a new ball joint in there at one point. This spring right here is to help keep the I guess as you spin, this would start creating like a slight vibration or something, maybe a noise. So they put this here to isolate that. It's some kind of a dampener. I don't really understand how it works, but there it is. I guess next we got to beat on this drum with a hammer and hope that it decides to come loose. Something tells me it probably won't. All right, a few beats with the hammer. Take a look at this. Look at that. The only wheel that was frozen and preventing us from moving now spins relatively freely. That means we got one more thing we got to focus on. We got to bleed the brakes. And if we can get any type of brake pedal, I mean any at all, I'm going to take this thing out on the street today. We're going to take this thing out and we're going to drive. We're going to put it back on the road for the first time. These tires are going to hit the open road for the first time in at least 11 years. Now, he told me last time it ran was 11 years ago, but the last time it drove was a lot longer ago than that. All right, so here's where we're at. We've managed to get the front brakes working. That's right. The wheels are free, all four. The front brakes work. I got nothing coming out of the back. I mean, nothing. Now, when I cracked one of the back bleeders open, it did kind of hiss. You could hear a little air, and then you could hear fluid slowly moving through it. It's jammed up back there pretty good. We probably need another master cylinder. That would probably be the safe bet, and probably 4 wheel cylinders as well. I can tell you this though, the hoses going to all of the brakes look new. The suspension looks practically new, most of it anyway. Someone spent a lot of money and a lot of time putting this car back together, and we have made a hell of a mess under here. I'm going to put this tire back on. All tires are free. All tires have air, and we have front brakes. That's enough to go down the road. I've got a tag on it already. Look at this mess I got to clean up. Yeah, I've got a massive mess under here, guys. But thankfully, I got to give a shout out to Super Clean. This is not sponsored. I don't want anybody thinking we're getting into a sponsorship right now. We're not. But they did send me this awesome stuff right here, this floor absorbent. I highly recommend it, guys. This will take all of that oil and nasty crap under there, and it'll turn it into a nice powder that you can sweep up. It is phenomenal. Thank you, Super Clean, for sending me awesome products. I'm going to get this wheel on right now. And guys, gals, For the first time in over 11 years, this car is going back on the road. It's going back on the road right now. Do I have brake lights? No, great. Well, I told you we were going on our first drive today. I wasn't joking. She is still on all of her factory brake components. And here she goes. Let's get on the road. All right, guys. I said that we'd be out driving this thing on the road. And, well... here we go. Oh my goodness. It just shifted too. We don't know if it'll stop yet, but we do know that it'll roll. Look at that. On the road again. Wow. Okay, well, it's time to find out if it's going to stop, because we do have a stop sign up here. Luckily, we have a horn, so if people need to move out of our way, here we go, moment of truth. Brakes. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, the brakes are a little sketchy, but they work. They work. Yeah, we got brakes. Oh man, I can feel we got a brake dragging. It's not too bad, but I want to keep my eye on that for sure. Obviously, we're going to want to replace the wheel cylinders and the master cylinder for sure. I can't believe that this old girl is out driving around right now, and it's running great. It's shifting great. Okay, the brakes aren't the best, but even these old tires that it's been sitting on for 100 years are actually riding pretty dang decent. Not bad. This is it's so stupid that this is like my dream car, right? I mean, everybody's got theirs. You know, I had someone actually comment. It brought it to my attention because I never really thought about how weird it was that this is my dream car. Some guy was like, so you must have been a really weird kid. Instead of the Batmobile, right? Or take your pick, Knight Rider. How about Knight Rider? Of all the cars that were cool when we were younger, I'd pick Christine. I can't explain it, man. I can't. I was obsessed with that movie from the time I was 5 years old. I've been obsessed with this style of car ever since. Never thought I'd own one, and now that I do, I feel like I finally found the one. I've been going through cars my whole life, and today I feel like I finally found the one. This is amazing, guys. The feeling is surreal. All right, so I think the next step is to get the, the next step is to get in the Hellcat. That's the right decision. Okay, we are going to take the wide body red eye. We're going to turn that down, and we're going to go put it next to the other cars. We're going to get one shot of them all together. We're still missing, well, we're missing a couple cars. We're missing the 53 Chieftain, we're missing the Caballero, and the Mercedes. But we'll do what we'll make do with what we got, and then we'll haul the 57 Plymouth down to AR headquarters where we can do this work, where it's not 150 degrees in a shop, where we got air conditioning, a lift, a bridge jack, all the proper tools to get this thing done. We'll go through all the brakes, master cylinder, wheel cylinders, and we'll get her back on the road again, guys. She's almost there. So real quick, we'll just run through the cars. We've got the 2004 Ford Expedition. We've got the 2006 supercharged Land Rover, Range Rover, of course. We've got our trailer. This thing is amazing. The 55 Hell Air. we're gonna have to send this down the road, guys. I don't think we're ever gonna do anything with this car. Makes sense to probably just get rid of it. It's got a lot of good parts under the hood. Very usable. We got the 21 Ram 2500. This is the Laramie Longhorn Limited Edition. Then we've got the 2019 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Widebody Red Eye. And then my two most recent and my two most favorite currently, the 1957 Plymouth Plaza. And of course, next to it is the 1968 Pontiac Tempest. There is a nice collection of cars here, guys, and I really love, I think more than anything, obviously, these three right here are my babies, my pride and joy. But one of them's got to go. That's a fact. And I can tell you this, I don't believe it's going to be that one. I can guarantee it's not going to be that one. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up having to send this one down the road. Not have to send it down the road, but guys, I can't drive all these cars, and these aren't even all of them. There's more cars sitting at paint right now. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no reason to own all these cars if I'm not going to be driving them. Currently, I drive this one all the time. All the time. I drive this thing constantly. This one right here, though, as soon as we get the brakes sorted out and I get the paint all taken care of on it and the way I want it, this is probably what I'm going to be daily driving. So I feel like this is a good time to go ahead and send this one down the road. But anyway, I wanted to give you a quick view of all of the cars that we got out here, guys. And I guess now, as good a time as any, let's get this down to AAR headquarters so we can begin making sure the brakes are solid. You know what? I changed my mind. Before we go dragging the car down to AAR headquarters, wouldn't it be appropriate just to at least give it a quick wash? Spray it off. I mean, it's covered in dust and everything on the outside. Take a look. I wonder how much a manual like that would be worth. Yeah, probably a lot. We're going to take it to the gas station. We just fixed the brake lights too. They weren't working. It had a bad connection. So we have working brake lights now. And the gas gauge is working. The temperature gauge does not work. I've got a list of parts I need to order for this. Interesting, that starter, she's a little iffy. There we go. There we go. She's running. I'm gonna let it warm up for just a second, and then I guess we'll hit the road. I think these are the windshield wipers here, but I can't figure out how to, I don't know how to pan. I guess that's for the interior lights. But the windshield wipers, I can't, I push, I try to turn, and they just don't do nothing. Everything else works, but I got to figure out the windshield wipers, the temperature gauge, and of course, brakes. Look how dirty this is. Oh, that's all on the outside. It's all dust on the outside. Let's get it to the gas station. Let's fill it up, and then we'll go to the car wash and spray her down. Well, here we go, guys. We're doing 35, and it rides like we're riding on rocks or boards or something. These tires are definitely done. I'm trying to kind of keep my distance and go slow because these brakes are nowhere near safe. Well, they're safe enough. Jessica's looking at me like I'm crazy. They're safe enough. They'll see, they stop. They just don't stop all that well. And I didn't really put too much work into them because there's no point. We're replacing all of the wheel cylinders and we're replacing the master cylinder. In fact, it looks like we'll probably be rebuilding the front wheel cylinders. There are 4 of them total, 2 on each wheel, upper and lower. So we'll probably have to rebuild those. Some of the parts for this you just can't find, but you can find rebuild kits. So let's get to the gas station here. Let's put some non-ethanol 91 fuel in it with the fuel treatment for the Insteado lead. And we'll hit the car wash, clean it up, get it on a trailer, get it down to AR headquarters. All right, time to put our Hapco high performance lead substitute in to the gas. I'm going to do this before we fill it up with that premium fuel. Just want to make sure everybody sees that we're doing the right thing and we're putting in there what needs to be put in there to make this thing happy. All right, Now let's fill it up and see how many gallons it holds. And how much it's going to cost us for some. How much is 91? No ethanol is $347.9. All right, it held $49.76, 14 gallons. I put about 5 in it yesterday, so it's about 20. The only downer is you can see it when the pump shut off, it spilt gasoline all down the paint. So I'm going to get this thing to the car wash immediately. And yeah, let's get it to the car wash immediately and try to spray that off. I don't want it to damage the paint. Let's see if the fuel gauge works. I'm hoping it goes all the way up. Come on. Come on. Yep, the gas gauge works. There it goes. There it goes. Look at that. All the way to full. Perfect. Okay, let's just hope that the brakes hold out, because I'll be honest with you, they're not great, man. They're not great at all. Car wash time. All right, we're gonna go ahead and give her the proper treatment. We're gonna do a pre-soak on her because she's got dust and stuff that's been on her for, well, many, many years. So my goal is to hit it with the pre-soak, let it do its job, kind of help carry away some of the lighter dirt and nasty stuff on it. I hope to see this, all this beautiful chrome and bright work come back out. I think it's gonna look fantastic. I can already see the dirt just melting away on it. Oh, she's gonna be beautiful, guys. She's gonna be beautiful. All right, let me continue on with this. We'll come back here in just a few minutes. All right, time to hit her with the soap. Kind of the high pressure side of it now. A little bit of warmer water. Really knock that dust loose. And it's a good time to find out if the weather stripping leaks, if any of the windows leak. We don't know how long it's been since this car has been outside and seen the day of light. The light of day, the day of light. Can you tell I'm excited? So far, I don't see anything leaking. I guess we'll find out for sure once we're done. Just wash all of that dirt and dust away, man. Show that beautiful red paint job. Somebody did a really good job painting it. I don't see any trash or anything. Like it's a nice paint job, guys. Very nice paint job. Come back and check it out here in a few minutes as soon as I'm done washing it. Well, anytime you buy an old car like this, you always got to wonder, how bad does it leak? Because I don't care. They all leak. They all leak. I don't care who you are. But this one looks like it leaked probably less than any that I've ever had before. She still needs a bath. Honestly, that spray off didn't do enough. I'm really surprised, actually. There's a tiny drop right there. The seat's dry. It didn't get wet inside back there. Doesn't look like it got wet inside back here either. No. Ah, I see a spot that it actually leaked. Hold on. Boy, look at how good she came out, though. She still needs a proper cleaning. I just wanted to kind of knock the dust off of her a little bit. Make her shine up a little. Looks like this wing window here leaked a little bit. There's some tiny drops, and you can see a little bit down here. None on the seat, though. That's good. Yeah, just a little bit through the wing window there. That's it. That's it. I don't see any leaks back here either. Nope, good and sealed up. The shelf back there is good, not leaking at all either. Man, oh man, what a car. And just like that, we're back and we got a lot done. We've got the new white walls on the wheels, so we won't have any flat spots anymore. We got the car sitting on rims. I think that's where we left off. It's been a few days for me. Today, I want to get the brakes going. It's very important I get the brakes going because I actually want to try to drive it home tonight. I can't guarantee that's going to happen, but it would be nice. So I'm going to start with the master cylinder, which is honestly probably the easiest part of this whole thing. There it is right there. It's got 4 bolts, 2 on this side, 2 on that side, 2 connectors here. We got to reuse that. We'll go ahead and get the master cylinder off real quick. There's only one line. You just take this one line right here off. 4 bolts, out it comes, and we'll do the bench bleeding on the master cylinder right here on the engine. We'll use the brake pedal to do it. And I guess from there, we'll change out the temperature sending unit since it doesn't work. And it'd be nice to know what the temperature says in the car, right? It'd be good to know. And if we have time, we might change the distributor cap and the rotor bug and the wheel cylinders. And yeah, I don't know how far we'll get. Change the oil. I definitely want to change the oil before I make an attempt to drive it home. Here's all the parts I got laid out for it. We got the 2 rear wheel cylinders. Then we got the rebuild kit for the front. All 4 front wheel cylinders are identical. We got the, excuse me, the cups, cap, springs, that sort of stuff there. Carburetor rebuild kits, we'll probably wait on that. I don't know. But let's get started with pulling off the master cylinder first. All right, here we have the old master cylinder. And she was leaking. She was leaking pretty good out of that rear seal right there. We got everything off of it. And now, well, it's time for, it's time for the new one. We got some plugs in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the actual plugs that came with it in. A couple of these right here. We'll put those in it real fast, then we can put it on, put some brake fluid in it. We can actually use the brake pedal to bleed out most of the air ourselves. And by golly, she's about to have a master cylinder. And I'm not going to let me tell you something. If I don't have to replace these wheel cylinders or rebuild them, I'm going to try not to. I'm hoping that we start with a master cylinder. This is the most likely culprit. If we can get this working, we might be able to get the wheel cylinders working. We'll find out here in a minute. All right, new master cylinder is installed. You can see she's got some nice little bubbles going through her. I do not have the brake line hooked up yet because first I want to bleed the master cylinder. Now, if you go into the car and you start pumping the brake pedal real hard, well, you're going to make a horrible, horrible mess. But I think if I sit you guys down about, I don't know, right here, and I tilt the camera down a little bit, I'm thinking, I could be wrong, but I think that if you real gently push the brake pedal, I mean real gently, just a little bit at a time, you can kind of bleed the air out of the brake pedal doing it this way. Just very gently. And just keep doing this for a while. And eventually, you should get a relatively decent pedal, at which point you can take off the plug and you can stick the line back on. Just keep an eye on your brake fluid level. Don't let it go low or you'll be doing this process over again. Well, guys, try as we might, we've got no back brakes. I cannot get brake fluid to the back at all. None. The front brakes appear to be working great. I've got them bled and I don't see the wheel cylinders leaking up here. So we may not have to rebuild these. We'll find out later. But for now, the brake pressure seems to be holding. I don't see anything leaking from the master cylinder at all. I've got to button these bare wires up. That's not going to be okay. But I think what we're going to focus on now is swapping out this sensor right here. That little thing. I wonder what size that is. Maybe I've got it. Maybe it's a 15. It is not a 15. Okay, so it's going to be a little bigger than a 15. Well, keep in mind this isn't metric either. But I do have the new sensor somewhere over here, right here. There's the new sensor, new cap and rotor bug. We'll go ahead and throw these in while we're at it. And then we can get it up in the air. Obviously, we got to put the wheels and tires back on it and change the oil. Maybe change the rear diff fluid or maybe just add diff fluid to it. Then we're going to fire it up, let it run for a little bit and see how badly that transmission's leaking. If I think it's good enough to make it to the house, I'm going to go ahead and drive it. If I think, you know, it's going to leak it all out and we're going to be in trouble, then unfortunately we'll have to leave it here and continue this in another video. But this is real simple. This is easy right here. Take the, we'll go ahead and take this off and we'll go ahead and swap out this cap here. And we'll swap out this rotor bug. Just like that. And I will carry my extra points and stuff with me. Just, I've got spare points, spare condenser. We might as well bring them with me because you never know if we're going to have a problem or not. Now this, I think, is keyed a certain way. Maybe not. I don't remember. Let's see if we can just slap. Does it go this right there? There it is. It is keyed. I'm not sure how they keyed it, but it's definitely... Oh! Okay, we've got the new distributor cap on in the new rotor bug. We have the new temp sender, and we made a, you know, a bit of a mess. We have to bypass the heater core, or at least this valve that goes to the heater core. But first, she fires right up. I do want to see if hopefully this temp gauge works. Where'd the gas gauge go? Come on. You were working. Don't do this to me. We're going to get the oil circulating just a little bit. She runs really, really well. I'm going to be hopeful that the gas gauge comes back to life. That's going to suck if it doesn't. She sounds good. We got to get these tires on, obviously, but we are going to change the oil. I just wanted to make sure it was going to run. Water is circulating quite well, but there's this little valve over here. It's hard to see. Yeah, you guys can't see it at all, but it's right here where my finger is. And the heater hoses here go into it. There's two of them. That valve is leaking on the inside of the car. There are valves here that I think shuts the coolant flow off, but I think just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and bypass those and see if I can find that little valve. I wanted to make sure it was going to run because I did remove the distributor cap, and although I thought I put the wires on right, you never know. You never know until you go to fire it back up again. Still got that little tap going on. That's all right though. Let's come back in here. The gas gauge has not come back to life, and I still don't see the temperature gauge moving, so brake pedal still feels good. All right, well, guys, I guess I'm going to shut it off. We'll get it up in the air, and we'll change the oil real quick. What do you say? Let's see what's in it. All right, a little while has gone by, and as you can see, hopefully you can see that, we have a temperature gauge. I replaced that temperature sender. That wasn't the problem. You know what it needed? You remember back in the day when you had an old TV that just wouldn't pick up the station, you just give it a good smack, come back to life? Well, as it turns out, the needle probably just hadn't moved in so long, it kind of froze into position. So the gas gauge has also come back. Let me see if I can get you guys down there and take a look at that. Okay, we got a gas gauge, and we have a temperature gauge now. So these are good things. The lights all appear to be working. We are about to put the wheels and tires on. Look at that, tag light works, lights are working. I'm about to put these wheels on, change the oil, check the rear diff fluid. Yes, sir. Yeah. And I think we are really, really close. I've got a temperature gauge on this cap here just as a precaution, just in case that gauge in there isn't accurate. I'm going to take this for a drive, obviously, before I attempt to drive it all the way back to the house. And we'll check this gauge, we'll compare it to that gauge, and make sure everything looks like it's kosher. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing major leaking. Fuel pump is leaking a little bit. It's not horrible. I'm going to have to take it for a drive and come back and check that as well. It may not make it, guys. It may not be safe to take this tonight, but I'm going to do my best to get it home. We got good pressure on the cooling system. I bypassed the valve that was leaking, and it's not leaking. A little coolant flush tea that I put on there from Prestone. It's looking good, guys. It's looking good. I'm going to get it up in the air. Let's change this oil. All right, we're getting there. Time to get under here and drain this oil out. Forgive me for that bright light shining in your face. But I wanted to kind of show you under here. This is where it's leaking pretty bad. Now there's an inspection cover right here, and I took it off just so I can get a kind of a closer look inside of here, but hopefully you can see. I do believe that it's leaking from the front seal that goes into the torque converter back here. I'd almost bet money on it that that's where it's leaking. But I find it interesting that you look around the rest of the vehicle underneath, And well, it looks like we blew a seal on the drive shaft there. You can see it's leaking a little bit, but aside from that, like this thing is very, very clean underneath. And I got a story to tell you guys at some point, but I'll just leave you with this before we drain this oil. The previous owner found me. All right, guy that actually built this car, and he was the second owner. He bought it from the original owner back in the early 80s. She was 97 years old. She had bought this car brand new. So we're gonna try to get a little story time with the gentleman that built this car and his son, who has always wanted to see it. He's seen pictures of it, but he's never seen the car in person. So we're gonna try to get them on the channel here in the very near future, and they can talk. This car has been through, it may not be a Christine story, but this car has been through hell. It's been through a tornado, a building fell on it. It fell on top of another individual. This car's been through some things, guys. She has been through some things. Okay, are we ready? Let's get this light adjusted. And let's see what this oil looks like coming out of it. God only knows when the last time the oil's been changed on this. Is this gonna be one of those that, you know, flies out and splatters everywhere? There we go. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. That is pitch black. Texas gold, baby. Okay, well, we got some fresh Rotella T4, I believe is what it is, Rotella T4 to put in it. That ought to make her a whole lot happier. Take a look at this. Thankfully, it does still feel like oil. It's just, that's pretty gross, guys. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty damn nasty. All right, we'll let her finish draining. We'll fill her up with some fresh oil. Remember, there's no oil filter on this car. And let's see what she does. Ugh. Now it's time to come back up under the rear diff. I said we was gonna do the rear diff, and luckily this rear diff has a drain plug. How nice is that? Now before you take out the drain plug, always make sure you can take out the fill plug, right? Because if you drain all your fluid out and you can't get the fill plug, well, you're gonna be in trouble. Luckily on this, fill plug's opening right up. We'll see if it's got fluid in it. If it pours out, then it's good. Ah, it's not pouring out. So she's a little low. Okay, good to know. Good to know before you go taking this thing on a drive. I guess now we might as well see what condition this fluid is in, right? Here we go. You guys ready for this? Watch, it won't have none in it. I'll take this off, it won't be nothing in it. All right, no, she's got gear oil for sure. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't look awful. It really doesn't. I mean, it needed serviced for sure. But, ugh. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, it needed serviced. We'll put some fresh gear oil back in it. I got a nice little pump. Yeah, she had plenty of gear oil. Maybe just a tad bit low, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. I got this this special stuff over here. I still got plenty of it. I got two what are these, 5-liter jugs right there, and I've got another jug right here that we used on the Pontiac Chieftain, and there's still plenty in this too, and this should work. Vintage green gear oil, 90 weight. That should be exactly what we need. Let's drag it over here, let this thing finish draining out. We'll put some fresh gear oil in her. And at this point, guys, that's gonna be about it for tonight, man. I'm done. All right, guys, we filled her up with some Rotella T4 Triple Protection SAE 15W40. Some of you are going to say that's too thick. Personally, I think it works just fine in these old cars. And I did make one mistake. You don't really need a funnel if you pay attention and hold these as you're pouring it in, but I got you know, a little crazy with it, and I just threw the oil down in there and left it. Well, it dumped over all over my distributor. I haven't taken the distributor apart yet. I did spray it a little bit with, well, with some starting fluid or carb cleaner, I mean. So this should be really interesting. It may just blow the distributor cap right off the right off the engine. I don't know. We got her back on her wheels, guys. She's got the brand new Coker Classic white walls. I got to give a big shout out again to Coker tires, guys. They hooked us up. Here's the old ones, and I found out from the owner, the second owner, he said these tires were on it when he bought it back in 1985 or 1984 or whenever it was. So these tires have been on here a long time. So big shout out again. Thank you to Coker Tires for providing us with these Coker Classics. I'll have a direct link down below. Go check them out. They've got all your tire needs taken care of, man. Coker, I'm sorry to you guys, man. I know it's been a long time. These tires were supposed to go on the Coronet a year ago. So, again, thank you for sending me the tires. She's got fresh oil, fresh differential fluid, full of coolant. I say let's fire it up and hope that it doesn't blow that distributor cap all the way across the building. Ah, that starter. There it goes. There it goes. Oil pressure, and there it goes. We've got oil pressure. Gas gauge is back to empty again. That's okay. It'll come back. It always does. Sometimes it takes a few minutes, and there it goes. See, sometimes you just gotta tap them, man. Sometimes they just need a little tap. All right, guys. You know what it's time for? We got to take her for a drive, and I have to make the decision right now when we get back from this test drive if this thing is worthy of trying to make it 50 miles home. 50 miles home for a car that has been sitting for over 20 years. We don't know exactly how long it's been sitting, but over 20 years she's been sitting, guys. And tonight is the night we are going to, at a minimum, take her out for a spin and see if see if she can handle it. She sounds good. The engine has, a little tap, but nothing that I think is serious at all. I think my biggest concern is still the transmission leaking, so I'm going to check the trans fluid level real quick, make sure it's full, open that garage door, and we're going to take her out on the road. Well, I know for a fact that the video quality is about to go to hell, where those brakes just don't feel all that great. Ooh. I'm willing to give her a chance, man. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Oh, I'm telling you what, man. Yeah. Come on, let's get those lights on there. Man, that's what I get for trying to skip a step. I was trying to not have to rebuild those wheel cylinders. Oh boy, those tires are just picking up all the rocks out here. Oh wow, hold on. No, the brakes actually felt really good right there. All right, let's hang a right. Oh wow, you can't see anything on video. I guess you guys can look at the speedometer. I don't know how well you can even see that. There's 40. There's 45. There's 50. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Wow, holy crap. brakes are pulling pretty heavy. I think we're going to turn this thing back around, guys. Well, we won't be driving this tonight. The accelerator's stuck. That was fun. As I turned around, the brakes are pulling super hard to the left. I'm gonna have to tear the wheel cylinders out. We're gonna take the hubs off, guys. I figured that's probably gonna have to happen. I just tried to take a shortcut, and you know, it didn't work out. That's fine. So we'll have to come back and do that. But the accelerator, let me see if I can get it to do it. Right there. It's just hanging. See it hanging? Hear that? Yeah. She's hanging up, man. The accelerator is stuck. Okay. Yeah. When you have sketchy brakes and an accelerator pedal that likes to stick and try to keep you going 50 miles an hour, not safe. Not safe, guys. I am going to kick it back down. I'm going to try to take it up the road real quick and back just one more time, and then we're going to have to pull it back in the garage and come back and tear into these brakes. All right. She's not okay, guys. She's not. And I didn't figure she would be. Got a feeling ooh, no, that's coolant. Okay. She's got coolant pouring out of the overflow. I wonder if the transmission is leaking again too. The trans seemed to have gotten a lot better. But I'm thinking, ooh, look at the smoke. The temperature is good, so it looks like the temperature gauge in the car is accurate. Boy, she is just pouring coolant out of the overflow there, I think. Or maybe it's leaking out of that lower hose. Oh, boy. Well, guys, she whooped me. She whooped me pretty good. I gotta admit it. But only because I decided to try to take a shortcut. We all know shortcuts aren't the way, man. I get excited sometimes. I get a little carried away, and all I wanted to do was get this car on the road. I wanted to drive it home, and she made it very apparent tonight that's not going to happen, guys. We're going to have to come back and we're going to have to come back. We're going to have to pull these front hubs off. Probably the back hubs too. We'll go ahead and just tear the thing down. We already got a new master cylinder on it. Let's tear it down. Let's put the new wheel cylinders in the back. Let's put the rebuild kit into the front wheel cylinders. And the reason it was holding that high idle was also my fault. When I pulled the hoses off of whatever that control valve was that was leaking into the floor of the car, not the heater core. It's just this weird little valve. But I spliced those hoses together to bypass that valve altogether so it wouldn't have coolant leaking all over the floor. Well, when I did that, apparently as I was driving down the road, that hose slipped off the fender well, the inner fender, and it landed underneath the carburetor. So that's why it was holding a high idle. Once I moved that hose out of the way, I fired it back up. It's perfectly fine now. We still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. This is not one that we're able to just, put some gas in it, fire it up, and go down the road. Not far anyway. This one's going to need a little bit more work. We're going to come back and we're going to get into a little bit more in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do me a favor. If you enjoy the Plymouth Plaza, the 57 Plymouth Plaza, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Share the video on your social media platforms. Subscribe to the channel if you're not currently subscribed. I would truly appreciate it. Again, shout out to Copart Tires. Thank you to them. Link to them down below, guys, for supplying us with some awesome, beautiful white wall tires. Look at those beauties, man. They make the car. They really do. Like, that just completes the car. I need to put the fender skirts back on in the back, but we'll have to do that after we change out those wheel cylinders and attempt. I say attempt because those rear hubs may not come off. But we're going to try. We're going to try, guys. And hopefully there is a Cars and Coffee in Wacker Park on the 18th of this month from like 8 to 10, 8 in the morning to 10 in the morning. There'll be, I think there's going to be coffee and donuts and all kinds of stuff. And it's free to get in, guys. Absolutely free. And I fully intend on having this old girl down there, and I'm hoping that I can drive it there. That may not happen, but one way or another, I fully intend on having this 57 Plymouth Plaza at the Cars and Coffee. You guys are all invited. Come on down, Wacker Park in Pauls Valley, September the 18th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Come hang out with us. Santa's Workshop will be there. Hopefully Austin Carr will be there. We'd love to see you. Until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I got to get home because I gotta get to bed. Good Lord. I will see you all again very soon in the next one.